Hi everybody, I am Adam Harris and from Trade with Precision, and welcome to IC Markets Market Commentary. So let's have a look. Non-farm payroll numbers were a little bit of a surprise to the market, and we can actually see that dollar weakened. However, we are still within a euro dollar downtrend, and therefore the possibility of that dollar continuing or resuming its existing trend of strengthening is very much a possibility. So we may still this week continue to do that. So that's what I'll be looking for in the first part of this week, is either a continuation straight up through this level, breaking these highs, which would mean that dollar continues to weaken, or alternatively it's going to battle to get through this level of resistance and we'll see it continue to strengthen. So euro dollar, really just watching this to see whether this trend remains intact. Let's have a look at dollar yen. Dollar yen also taking a bit of a hit, but its daily trend is still very much intact. So what am I looking for? We've got the 50, 20 and 10 moving averages in a bullish formation. We've got beautiful bullish convergence, higher lows, higher highs. I'm looking to see if this early part of this week, Monday and Tuesday, we get a nice bullish candle here and we resume that uptrend. Alternatively, should we continue straight down and break the lows here, same on euro dollar, that would then mean that we have to revisit this trend, and that dollar is going to continue to weaken. It means there's going to be a higher time frame correction. So something to look out for. Gold here as well is actually still stuck within a range. Just having a look at it, it is at the bottom part of a range here and potentially going to work its way up to the top part of the range, which puts it around the 3,500 mark. Sorry, I beg your pardon, 3,400 to 3,500 mark, where it may continue to push up. Of interest to some may be silver, also finding some support where it is currently. Interesting to me is that 4-hour time frame, which has now moved into an uptrend of higher lows, higher highs. I want to see if this week it continues to push higher. So there might be some trading opportunities to the upside for day traders there on silver as well. Crude oil is not really offering anything satisfactory to traders. There's no real clear trend here at the moment. It continues to sort of slide its way to the upside, but is not attractive to me in any way. Let's have a look at the S&P. So the S&P here has had quite a big correction. If we just have a quick look in there, we've broken below some of these lows, but from a weekly perspective, it appears as though we have now started. It's a big, strong, bearish engulfing bar. It appears as though we have now started a weekly retracement. At least in the nearer term, I'm expected to come down to head towards these recent highs to test that for support. So that is really what I'll be looking for here, is a break of the low and a continuation back down towards the moving averages, potentially to test that level of resistance for support. That will be exactly the same for the NASDAQ here as well. Weekly retracement coming in and expecting the market to head back down, especially if we do follow through and break the low of last week's candle. And I'll be expecting this to head back down towards the recent highs. Let's have another look at that Russell 2000 as well. If we look at the Russell 2000 from a higher time frame perspective, we're still very much stuck within the range. It has been relatively bullish, and so again, I'm not going to assume the bigger picture anything just yet, taking it 1 week at a time, looking to see if we're going to head a little bit lower. But we do need to break the last week's candle. Just to zoom in there and have another look at it, we do need to break last week's candle to really do that. Now, Tesla continues to form a wedge over here and hinting at the possibility of a breakout in the near future. Would be interesting if the rest of the market heads lower. There is a very fair possibility Tesla may continue to do the same, breaking through these lows. The really interesting thing then is that it will very likely start to head back down towards these recent lows here. There's not very much standing in its way if it does ultimately start to break below these lows here. Then we have Nvidia also right now currently producing a potential bullish opportunity right here. It's got a very good trend. The MACD is nice and convergent. A little bit of divergence on the RSI, but overall this looking relatively healthy. So I'm curious to see if we do ultimately break the high of this and continue up. This is just a fantastic, almost 10 out of 10 quality trend. Looks absolutely incredible. Folks, pay attention. This is the kind of thing you really want to find as often as possible, and this is like hen's teeth. It's a beautiful trend. That being said, that weekly is a bit overextended, did finish as an indecision candle, and similar to the rest of the market, we may break the low of this. If we break the low, that may then trigger a bit of a correction down towards the previous highs and back down towards the moving averages. So something to keep an eye on. Then having a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin also struggling a little bit here. It's got a beautiful uptrend on the weekly. Beautiful uptrend here coming back down towards these highs. Overall, this is still an uptrend, and therefore my first assumption right now is that it will come back and test this, and we may well end up within the next 2 weeks within a nice bullish candle here and see if this trend works its way to the upside. Should this week, however, be an incredibly or surprisingly bearish one following Friday's numbers, which is not a guarantee. We could see the markets drop, and if they do break the weekly lows, then we start to look at a monthly retracement. But for now, 1 week at a time, really just looking to see how the market comes back down towards these recent highs on the indices, as well as Bitcoin. How does gold and silver react? They are looking possibly quite stable at the moment. And again, just an eye on those US dollar pairs to see what happens there. I'll leave you with that. Exercise some caution. Remember to keep calm, carry on trading, making sure you manage your risk well. Thank you, ladies and gents. I will speak to you soon.